Welcome to an episode of InRange. It's always a pleasure to be able to do a review on a product that you genuinely like, enjoy, and appreciate. And today's one of those days. And interestingly, it is the PSA 5.7 Rock. Yep. I ordered this to go ahead and shoot handgun brutality, both min-max. I was going to shoot the entire match with a 5.7, and I shot the entire match with a 10mm. If you haven't seen the review of the T-Sauce 10mm 1911 that I shot there, that's also on the channel already. But today we're talking about the PSA Palmetto State Armory Rock 5.7. This gun, you can go on Gunbroker right now and get this for around $450. There's a number of variants. Some are cut full red dot, some have a threaded muzzle, some have neither. I opted for the one that was no threaded muzzle, but was cut for the red dot, and it comes with plates in the bag already that allow you to use any different variety of mounting options for red dots. Now, in this instance, I decided to use a HS507C Holosun, which has the nice circle dot or dot reticle, and I actually like that circle with no dot in the middle for handguns because it really works well on targets for quick and rapid acquisition. Threw the plate on there, threw the red dot on there, and got to work. The first thing I noticed when I picked up this gun out of the box was it's extremely light. This is not a heavy pistol, and it's also extremely ergonomic. The minute it got in my hand, it fit my hand. It always sounds corny when I hear people say this, but this legitimately fits my hand. It feels good. It feels like an extension of my hand. When I go to point it, it feels like it's just automatically there. One of the stages, which was running back and forth and getting quick acquisition on plates with a forced reload time crisis, I actually was the first overall with this gun on that stage. Run over, mandatory reload, pop, 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 pop. Run over, reload, pop, 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 and bam. I mean, I was like a laser beam on that thing. This gun, specifically with a red dot on it, feels like that. It feels like a laser beam. But let's go ahead and get to the gun a little bit more, then we'll get into the actual shooting discussion after that. Okay, just like the disassembly with any firearm, remove the magazine and ensure that it's empty. Visually identify. Feel that it's empty. See that chamber. It's clear. In this instance, I'm going to dry fire. Pull the slide slightly back, pull down the release, push forward, slide comes off. Very easy to do. Spring comes out. Barrel comes out, which is fluted for weight, and there you go. That's the full disassembly of the 5.7 Rock. Really easy gun to handle. In reverse, barrel back in, spring back in, like that. Guide this over so they line up. Back, let it go. That's it. Nothing to it. The trigger itself is fine. In fact, it's a little better than fine. It's pretty short take up on the reset, and then nice and crisp. Actually, more so than you would expect from this gun for $450. In fact, now that I'm saying it, and I'm feeling it here on camera, it kind of feels like a match trigger. So anyways, for about 450 bucks, pistol, soft case, and 2 magazines, which hold 23 rounds each. Another thing to mention here is that these magazines are double stack, double feed, which makes them quite easy to load even at 23 or 30 rounds, which means you just kind of load them like you load an AR mag. The rounds go in extremely easily, and double stack, double feed, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal, is really a nice feature for a high capacity handgun magazine. And I wish we saw more of that on the market. I'm sure other 5.7 pistols feel like this as well. I haven't done a lot of work with 5.7 pistols, but this particular 5.7 Rock from PSA feels to me like when you go from an iron sighted 308 to a red dot sighted 5.56 M4 or AR-15. It just becomes easier, immediately easier. Bringing this up, instantaneous sight picture. Like I said, the ergonomics on this feel excellent. It points exceptionally well. The dot appears instantly. It doesn't take a lot of work to be able to find the dot. And if the dot's on the target and you press the trigger, which is a nice crisp break, as I said, you'll hit it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
you'll absolutely hit it. This makes hitting targets easier than I've ever felt with any other pistol I've ever used, modern or otherwise. This just, it kind of feels magical. You bring it up, pull the trigger, and you hit the target. Recoil impulse is extremely mild. Magazine release, nice and positive. They eject nicely, which is really cool for speed reloads. You just boop, put the new one in, hit the slide release, and you're back to work.
Clear.
We got that. Is that all of it?
That's all of them. That's not. Hey.
This gun performed incredibly well for me at the match, and outside of that as well when I was practicing with it. As I've said already a number of times on the video, present, see the dot, press the trigger, hit the target. It's really that simple. This gun performs exceptionally. I have had zero malfunctions with it, shooting a myriad of different manufacturers, including Federal and FN, and some Speer gold dots, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. It is a rather large gun. It's a full-size service pistol. So if you're down for carrying a full-size service pistol, this gun's weight will not bog you down. And the amount of ammunition in the magazine is certainly something to consider. But another thing you do need to consider, and it's outside of the scope of this full video, is if 5.7 is the right choice for you in that role. In the perspective of shooting and having fun and knocking down most targets, 5.7 does an exceptionally good job. It really does. It outperforms based on everything you've heard about it. 5.7's like, that thing is worthless, blah, blah, blah. You'll hear all the stuff on the internet, of course. But the reality is, for target shooting, and even for the competition stages I shot, the vast majority of targets went down with one hit. But there's a few targets here and there that didn't go down at all, even with multiple mag dumps on them. You could not hit fast enough for the target to go down.
My other gun. There it is. To the left of the blue.
So how that represents itself in the real world is really up for a subjective conclusion, not an objective one. It never malfunctioned with a myriad of manufacturers of ammunition, FN and Federal and others. Every time I pulled the trigger, this gun went bang and worked perfectly. And every time the sight was on the target and I pressed the trigger, it hit reliably, even at distance. I mean, 50-yard, 100-yard hits with this gun and a red dot and the 5.7 cartridge are easy mode.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
Hit! Hit!
This would be a fantastic gun to get someone trained up on, whether or not they stuck with this or not. Using this as getting them capable and then moving them to something else would still be a viable idea in my opinion. 5.7 is a contentious issue. Some people think it's a worthless cartridge. Some people feel otherwise. But there are some real manufacturers that have chimed in to say that they believe in it. Speer has come out with a gold dot self-defense round for 5.7. And Speer's and their gold dot series is considered one of the gold standards of self-defense ammunition. If you are fast and accurate and have literally a bucket full of ammunition, I'm hard pressed to think that this gun wouldn't do the job. Now, it is a full-size pistol, full-size service pistol, but it is also very light and it is quite thin. So in terms of carrying it, if you want to carry appendix or somewhere else, this is actually quite carryable. You just got to have the right garb and holster set up to make sure that a full-size service pistol can be concealed. I do believe that the ability to be extremely accurate with a reliable gun with very quick follow-up shots has a lot of practical application, whether it's at a match or in the real world. Additionally, while it comes with 23 round magazines, for around 45 bucks from Excess Arms, you can get these extra plates, put that on there, and then you've got a 30 round magazine. Does add a little length to the gun. Not enough to worry about that much, but you now have a pistol on you that has 31 rounds of ammunition that you know, if you've practiced even a little bit, you can reliably get 100-yard hits or very reliable precision hits close range without effort. So if you've got 31 rounds of that in here, I am hard-pressed to understand how that's not a viable combat firearm. That said, like I said, guns can also just be fun. And if you just want to have fun, I cannot recommend the Rock 5.7 enough. This gun is fun with a capital F. Being able to hit so easily and reliably with no recoil is a really good time. Additionally, I also think this would be a wonderful training pistol. If you were starting someone off with shooting, maybe you start them off with a 22, move them up to the 5.7 Rock or a 5.7 in general, and they will have more recoil and the ability to hit targets at range. And then you can also move them from there to 9mm or something else. But getting someone proficient with this would not be a lot of work. So I really want to commend PSA, or Palmetto State Armory, for coming out with such a really nice pistol. It feels good, it shoots good, it's reliable, it's well manufactured, it's a quality piece. What else do you want? I mean, I'm impressed, guys. Thanks for putting this out on the market. This has legitimately become one of my favorite handguns to shoot. And it's been a joy. It's really fun to be able to give a positive review on something here on InRange. So often that's not the case. And in this instance, I really, really love this gun. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me on Patreon. We are truly a viewer-supported only project. I am proactively demonetized. I make no income from YouTube advertising or YouTube Red or YouTube Premium or any of that. The only way InRange stays alive is because viewers like you go to patreon.com/InRangeTV and decide to donate. Literally every dollar counts. Each and every one of you that can throw a dollar in the hat makes InRange a more viable product. And all the ammunition you saw today, and this pistol, and the magazines, and all this was possible because of people like you supporting us via patreon.com. And the links are in the description below. If you can't do any of that, please just subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. The algorithm on YouTube has been particularly gnarly lately, especially firearms content. I was talking to other content creators, and a lot of us are having a hard time with that. So if you're willing to share this, your organic share will help us get to other viewers and other people who might be interested in this content when YouTube won't feed it to you. In fact, they frequently don't even feed it to you if you're subscribed to it. Anyways, not to go there. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review, and stay tuned for another one.